Last week I had a really funny experience that I wanted to share with you. Last Sunday, a week ago this morning, I was in the Shuk. I go to the Shuk, the market, Jerusalem market, every Sunday morning. And I noticed something that I'd never noticed before. There used to be there had been a pizza shop in the Shuk, and all of a sudden the pizza shop was gone, and in its place was a store that said, the title was Rak Selek. The name of the store is Rak Selek, which means only beets. Beets, like the vegetable, Beets, only beets, with like a big picture of a beet. And I looked very quickly. They said on the menu, they said that they had a beet ice cream, beet milkshake, beet salads, beet, I think, with pasta, everything beet. And I thought that was so funny. So I didn't pay so much attention to it, and I kept on walking. I did my cooking. So the following morning, it was Monday morning, and I was walking home, and I had nothing to write about that day. And so I was like, oh no, I thought, well, what am I going to write about? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I remembered this beet store, this beet restaurant. And I thought, well, that's really, really weird. I wonder why somebody started, I wonder what inspired these people to start a beet restaurant. So maybe I'll go and I'll find out, maybe there's some sort of Jewish mom involved in this beet restaurant. And I'll write a post about them. So I went, and I went to the beet store, to the Only Beets restaurant, and there was a woman there, and I said, is this your restaurant? And she says, yes, it's our restaurant. I was like, good, okay, she looks like a Jewish mom. So I said, okay, listen. First of all, I have to say, so I get there, and there's a TV, there's like a TV movie, like film crew there. So I thought that was really funny, and I thought right away I understood. I thought I'm always looking for stories, and they're also looking for stories, and they must have heard about the Only Beets restaurant, and they also this must be Channel 2 News or something, and they're going to do a little report, like a little human interest story about the beet restaurant, and so I said, I'm sorry, I guess like a lot of people, I said the woman, I said I guess a lot of people are interested in you, want to write stories about you. But I said I have a website for Jewish mothers, and I would love to interview you. So the woman didn't seem especially interested in what I was saying. And she said, but the film crew was interested in me. So the film crew is like filming me, and I'm like, no, don't film me, no. But so they stopped for like a little bit, and then but I was talking with a woman. Didn't really notice much. They went back to filming me. So I saw that they were actually like filming my conversation with this woman about my website and about how I want to write a post about her. So she said so then like they came up and they're like really filming me, and they said, first of all, the woman says, first of all, I want you to try this beet salad. And so it was like little cut up beets with blue cheese and like seasoned walnuts, and it was so yummy. I want to make this for Shabbat. It was so yummy. So they're filming me. And so I said a bracha. I ate some. And so then they're interviewing. Then they asked me, they said, we're making a movie about this woman, about her restaurant. And so how do you like it? Like, how do you like it? I said, this is amazing. This is great. Everyone should come to this restaurant. It's so great. And I would have, and they said, well, how did you come here? And I said, well, yesterday I was walking by and I saw it says Only Beets, and I was wondering why it says Only Beets, and it sounded very interesting, so I wanted to come by and see what it is, whatever. So then the man, who's I guess is like the director of the film crew, he says to the woman, he says, maybe we'll share our secret with her. And I was like, okay, what secret are you going to share with me? So I come into the back of the restaurant. I just have to say, like, first of all, like, they were dressed like really nice. It was like the people making the beets. They were dressed like in these fancy white sort of chef shirts, chef jackets, like they were like in like some sort of like they were chefs in a fancy restaurant. But but they weren't a fancy restaurant. They were like making beets. So I come to the back of the kitchen. The back of the little place, which is the kitchen, and the man says, what you just ate was this. And he points to a fridge. It's a fridge with like a glass door, and it's filled with about like 200 packaged plastic containers of cubed beets. made by a company called Achla. Achla is like a very big company. They sell a lot of hummus and trina and things like that. And they sell them in corner stores. They sell them in supermarkets all over Israel. It's a very, very big company. And so it was filled with over 200 packages of packaged cubed beets from Achla. So I just like sort of looked at them like that, like, I said, what? I said, so this is like, you're making like a commercial for Achla beets? They're like, yeah. And I said, so this restaurant isn't really a restaurant. This is like you did this to have like to make a commercial for Achla beets. And they're like, yeah. So it was really, really funny. So basically afterwards, and they had me sign like a waiver, like a legal waiver saying that I will allow myself to be on TV. So I'm really, really hoping that they're going to put up this commercial on YouTube so I can show it to all of you Jewish moms, that all of you can see like my 5 seconds of Israeli TV fame on promoting beets for Achla, and it actually was phenomenally yummy. So I'm proud to promote it. It looks like it was really, really yum. But afterwards, it was really a bit disorienting. It's like, wow, like, and, at that time I just want to look at it. This is after, like, just as a epilogue or whatever. This morning I walked by it, Sunday morning again, and it's a pizza store again. The beet store, the rock salad totally disappeared. It really was something. They took over the pizza store just for 1 week. And they set everything up as like a beet restaurant, and now like the pizza restaurant is totally back to normal. Really weird. So it was a very disorienting experience, like this whole beet thing, because I really thought it was a beet restaurant, and they completely convinced me that somebody had decided to set up a beet restaurant. I guess it's sort of silly, but really it was to have this commercial about beets. And then whatever. So it reminded me of something else. Lahavdil alfei avdalot. Very, very different thing. But that last week I was reading. My friend sent me a link to the article at h.com last week. It was an article about reincarnation and the Holocaust. It's about people who believe that they are reincarnated that they are reincarnations of people who were killed in the Holocaust. And when I saw that title, I was like, whoa, like H.com. Like H.com usually isn't into, weird, parapsychology kind of like, UFOs, reincarnation kind of thing. And I know, like Gilgul Neshama, like reincarnations, this is like a pretty basic part of like Jewish belief that there is reincarnation, but like I guess like I've never really 100% believed it. So I read this article and it really, really blew me away. So basically it turns out that real leading scientists believe in reincarnation. So just to tell you, and it was featured in Scientific American. Scientific American wrote an article arguing that reincarnation is for real. You can actually Google this, and Scientific American. It was issued November 2nd, and just Google reincarnation Scientific American, and it will come up. I did, and I sent it to my husband, and it's wild stuff. So in the article it writes about a professor named Ian Stevenson. He was the chairman of psychiatry at University of Virginia. That's a pretty serious university, a very serious university. And what he did is he dedicated a large chunk of his life to proving that reincarnation is for real. So what he did is I'm just reading now. This is from Sarah Yocheved Regular's article. So she wrote, Professor Stevenson meticulously studied the memories of previous lives of some 3,000 children. For example, now listen to this. This is a crazy story. For example, a toddler in Sri Lanka heard her mother mention the distant town of Kataragama and proceeded to tell her mother that she had drowned there when her quote-unquote dumb brother pushed her into the river. She went on to mention 30 details of her previous home, family, and neighborhood. Professor Stevenson went to Kataragama and found a family that perfectly fit the child's description. Their 2-year-old daughter had indeed drowned in the river while playing with her mentally challenged brother. Professor Stevenson verified 27 of the 30 statements made by the child. So the Scientific American author, who's also a professor of psychology, so he says, he grudgingly admits, I must say, when you actually read them firsthand, many of the accounts are exceedingly difficult to explain away by rational, non-paranormal means. And another leading scientist, like award-winning scientist, so she said, as a physicist, Doris Coleman-Wilsdorf, said that she went over Stevenson's work, and she believes that it had established that, quote unquote, the statistical probability that reincarnation does in fact occur is so overwhelming that cumulatively the evidence is not inferior to that for most, if not all, branches of science. Whoa! So then, like, the rest of the article is about people who believe that they are who are reincarnations of people killed in the Holocaust and the Shoah. And it's just so mind-blowing, because, we're always hearing about, everyone's always saying, everything is Hashem's kindness, Hashem's mercy, Hashem's mercy. And I think, like maybe many people, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, but what about the Holocaust? And what about the Holocaust? And where was God's kindness and mercy then, right? But if you think that these people, if it's actually true that these people were killed, and then, and then a few years later, then they were reincarnated as new human beings, it's just so wild. It just so makes you rethink, realize that we just do not understand anything. Just the extent to which we just really, really, we think that we get it, and we think that we know what's going on, and we really, really don't. So I want to bless all of us. We see, we live our lives, and we, face disappointments, and we hear bad news, and so many difficult things, and difficult news, and and so many, or even this in our own lives, just sort of smaller, disappointing, frustrating things happen, and we're like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And I think so often, we just really, just like that restaurant, just like the Just Beats restaurant, we think that we get it, and we think that we know, and we think that we can trust our eyes and our ears and our minds, and we really can't. We really, really don't get it. Hashem really runs the world, and we really, really don't. So I want to bless on that note. I want to bless all of you Jewish moms with an amazing, amazing week.